What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? So I was asked quite a few times what I thought about the Katt Williams interview. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my opinion on it because I was asked so many times, and I've given so many takes. Well, not takes on it, but I've regurgitated the information so many times. I figure I'd go ahead and do a reaction video to it. So first and foremost, let me say that every person is entitled to their opinion. Every person is entitled to give their synopsis of the situation, right? You get to give your experience of what happened, what transpired. You get to give your part of the story. In that retrospect, I'm with Katt Williams in that retrospect, that he should be allowed to say what he believes happened. The problem I have is when others come out and say exact contrary to what you said, right? It's one thing for you to say that didn't happen, this happened, and fine, right? But it's another thing for everybody else that's involved in the situation to say that you're lying. Okay? So that's not a big deal to me, because at the end of the day, look, people will conspire against you. Groups will conspire against you. So just because more than one person says you're lying doesn't mean that you are. The world can be wrong. Like, a group of people can be wrong, right? It doesn't mean just because they have the numbers on their side doesn't. Okay. So my issue is that I do study people and I do study liars. Okay. Books like The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of War, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent, Leaders Eat Last, Think and Grow Rich. I can go on and name a lot of The Art of Seduction. I can name a lot of books that imply a lot of rules and a lot of things that Katt Williams was using in this interview to try to manipulate and conceal, his true agenda. And I'll start there because it's a lot, right? The first thing is, if this was presented as pure entertainment, as a comedy special, as a bit, as something to get attention or focus to his tour that he was getting, I would have no problem with the whole interview, because I've heard a lot worse. Okay? So that's the issue I have, is that you're presenting this as true fact. And you're presenting this as, the reason you're saying this is because some people came on this same platform, they came on the Club Shay Shay podcast and said things about you. So since they opened their mouth about you, now you're going to open their mouth about them. I'm 100% with that too. Like, you open this bag of worms, so then why is it that I'm wrong for then telling my side of the story? The issue I have is, you named several people that have never been on Club Shay Shay. You've named people that have never said anything negative about you. You named people that have been quiet, that you supposedly have squashed beef with for years. So that's issue number one, right? The next issue that I have is the fact that you're talking about someone's wife. And you try to present this as evidence that this is why they're all in a group together, because they all have the same thing. They all have, and this is his quote, right? They all have a light-skinned, funny-faced wife that doesn't do interviews. What does their wife doing interviews have to do with you telling the truth, sir? What did their wives do to you, sir? When did their wives come out and say anything about you, sir? So now, not only have you been said to be a liar by other people who have been part of this story, now you've shown yourself to be a liar in this interview. They even stopped the interview because when he was saying that Cedric stole his jokes, he got the dates wrong, which is a sign of you being emotional when you can't speak articulately. when you can't regurgitate the facts factually because you're having trouble and you're missing dates but you want to say that you're not drunk, but you want to say that you don't take drugs, but you want to say that this isn't an emotional rant. Okay, so we move on, right? We're going to go back to the wife thing. As a black man, one of the most disgusting things I hear is light skin versus dark skin. He's light skin black. He's dark skin black. Now, again, if this was in a joking manner, because I do appreciate comedy like anybody else, I can accept that. I can laugh at that. We can have fun with that. But you want to present this as facts, sir. And you're sitting here talking about light skin versus dark skin. Willie Lynch laws. Let me tell you right now, for everybody out there who doesn't understand and doesn't know this, there's no such thing as a light-skinned black person and a dark-skinned black person. They're all black. Okay? Because when a racist police officer pulls us over, guess what? He doesn't say, oh, he's light-skinned black, I'm going to treat him different. When I walk into a bank and try to get a loan, guess what? They don't say, I'm light-skinned black, I'm going to treat him different. When I fill out an application for a job, they don't say, there's no such thing as light-skinned black and dark-skinned black. That disgusts me. Don't say that. And then try to say that you're trying to prove facts, and then try to say that there's only one side, God's side, and the other side, and you're on God's side. Then you want to bring up somebody's son who's dead, who is not alive. You sat there and said, I don't know why he would lose a child and didn't get on here alive. That's why people believe in rituals now. But you want to say you on the side of God? And you talking about dead children? And you talking about people's wives? And you talking about light skin versus dark skin? And you calling women funny face looking? Where are you at, bro? There's enough dispergy going on right now with black queens, and you're sitting up there talking about funny faced and not doing interviews. And so what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to come out and do all these interviews and be messy and be, what is that what you would applaud? Is that something that you would see value in, sir? So he goes on and he calls out all these people and he talks about this and he talks about that. And he just, toward the end of the interview, I'm just like, you're a punk and you're a coward. You're a punk and you're a coward because of this. You called out all these comedians, but you didn't say Ali Sadiq's name, did you? See, this is the reason why I watched the interview. This is the reason why I know about the interview. Because I am a connoisseur of comics. I love comedians. I love hilarious moments. I love laughing. Laughing is a medicine. It's a beautiful thing. I think Katt Williams is a great comedian. However, I know comics that call Katt Williams out by name. That want to set a place and a time for a fight, for a roast off. They want to do all this stuff. They want to challenge Katt Williams, and Katt Williams is quiet about it. But you got something to say about Cedric, and you got something to say about Kevin and Steve and all these other names that are so high up that they really don't have to respond to you, that they're not really going to lure themselves to having an interaction with you. But the ones who are down there still struggling, the ones who you can give a break to, and then you talk about putting on comics. If you listen to the interview long enough, if you're intelligent enough, and if you're trained enough in lies, you will hear and see the lies in every bit of the interview. Let me tell you something. The greatest liars in the world, what they do is they don't tell you a full lie, because you know it's a full lie. If I sit up there and tell you that I'm 7 foot tall, 500 pounds of pure muscle, and I can bench press 1,000, of course you're going to say he's a liar. But if I start to give you a little bit of truths in between, I am 5'9", I go to the gym quite regularly, and once I was in there and I squatted 500 pounds. See, you'd be able to discern the part that might be a lie, but if I give you enough truths, then all of it sounds like the truth. And that's what he did. He starts talking about how people need to come together. He starts talking about different parts of righteousness, and there are some positive moments in there and some truths in there. But then he goes back to lying. He sprinkles in some truth, he sprinkles in some lies, he sprinkles in some truth, and that's how the greatest liars get away with it. They don't give you a full lie. They give you part of a lie and part of a truth. And they make you decide which part is true and which part is false. But let me tell you something. It doesn't matter how much of it is true and how much of it is a lie. A part truth is still a whole lie every single time. There was a part in there where he talks about what happened in Friday. And he says that, he wrote the lines. He wrote the lines for Money Mike. That's why he had to come out. He couldn't let this egregiousness slide because he wrote Money Mike. He wrote that part. Ice Cube came out and said he didn't. He said that the man was supposed to get raped in the restroom. Ice Cube came out and said he didn't. It wasn't. That was never going to happen. He came out and said that the roles didn't get switched. That they were never switched. Ice Cube came out, and Ricky Smiley came out, and Ricky Smiley's manager came out, and other producers came out, and other executives came out and said, actually, we did want Ricky Smiley to play Money Mike, but Katt Williams was so good when he auditioned for it that we gave it to him. So actually, he says that Ricky Smiley followed Katt Williams to the interviews. It was really the other way around. You came to the interview, and you even said it. You came to the interview after Ricky Smiley had already been there. It's an egregious interview. It's very entertaining. It's very theatrical. But the part I have the most problem with is that he presented as a truth, and how much people are quoting the interview and saying that it was a good interview and that they back Katt Williams. I can't back any person that sits up there and just attacks a black queen for no reason. You came after those women and they've never said anything to you. I can't sit there and back someone who brings up someone's dead child to win an argument. An argument? You trying to win an argument? You bringing up somebody's kids? I don't have kids. I can imagine how upset I would be. And then to my point, I will say this. Ricky Smiley came out and he said that he told his part of the story, but when he said it, he didn't say one negative thing about Katt Williams, other than he wasn't telling the truth. He even ended his interview with saying, I want you to go out and support the brother, sell out those arenas, and I want you to go out and do all of that. Excuse me, getting a phone call real quick. And that's how you stand on business as a God-fearing, God-respecting person. You tell the truth, you let them know that they're lying, but you still say something like, that's how you stand on business, Katt. Not the way you went up there and just been messy. It was just, anybody who tells you different is a fat phase-on liar and all these other subliminals and ad-libs that that's pathetic, man. That's ridiculous. That's unnecessary, uncalled for, and it was disgusting. My opinion of Katt Williams doesn't change. I've heard these stories before where he spazzes out. I mean, it's just like Kanye West. Every couple of years, they do some off-the-wall stuff that makes it hard for us to support them, even though they're very talented young black men. But it was disgusting to see how many people sat up there and supported him and thought that it was great and creative. And again, my biggest problem is that this is presented as fact. My biggest problems are that you're attacking dead kids. My biggest problem is that you're attacking black women that have said nothing about you. If this was presented, even with the dead kids, even with the black women, if this was presented as comedy, as entertainment, I've heard worse things in comedy. I would understand that. But you're giving an interview, you're sitting there, and you're saying that it's factual. The last thing I'll address is Shannon. I saw criticism of Shannon. I don't approve of the criticism of Shannon. I don't. I think that at the end of the day, he was doing an interview. He conducted himself as an interview. There were some hilarious moments. He did laugh. He did laugh at some things that he thought were lying. You can see that. That's why he was laughing. So I wouldn't say that Shannon did anything out of character. That's what I'll say, out of character. Especially not out of place as a moderator, as an interviewer, as someone who's supposed to be impartial, who's supposed to, call it down the middle. So take it as you will. I'm sure there's 1,000 people who agree with me, and I'm sure there's 1,000,000 people who don't. And at the end of the day, look, I have my opinion. I'm only expressing it because I've been asked several times on this platform and in person what I think about the Katt Williams interview, and there it is. Hopefully, that's that. I'll leave it where it's at. That's my opinion of it. I will say it definitely worked, right? Because all these people are talking about it, and guess what? Even I'm talking about it. So he definitely got his name out there, and I'm sure his tour will sell out. So I thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are in great energy, and I hope you guys are in great health. And I need you guys to take care of yourselves. Please, please, please be kind to one another. Keep me in your prayers. I'll forever keep you in mind. Endure, believe, rise.